We're in high school. It is May 8th. We're on week 24 of quarantine, and it feels like forever that we've had empty halls. Okay, I thought it was hot before, but today when I checked how hot it was, my phone told me, don't even bother with deodorant. You're gonna end up smelling like a camel regardless. So that's fun. One of the things I've been doing in quarantine before it got so hot is rereading the Lord of the Rings books in my hammock. Copies of the books I've had since high school. It's an awesome story about an unlikely hero defeating great evil with the help of faithful companions. It's been ages since I've actually read the books, but I've seen the movie probably half a dozen times in the meantime. So it's catching me off guard when I encounter scenes or dialogue or things that happen in different places in the movie and in the book. One of my favorite quotes from the story is said in the movie when the Fellowship has been on their journey for weeks and is underground in the mines of Moria. At that point, they've already encountered difficult times, we're struggling through unknown territory. In the book, though, the line is said much earlier. As soon as the Hobbit hero Frodo finds out that he has a ring connected to the return of the Dark Lord Sauron the Great, before he takes that first step out of his front door, before he's encountered any difficulty or hardship, he tells his wizard friend Gandalf, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." "So do I," said Gandalf, "and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us." Does that sound familiar? Many people I've talked to have asked, why did this happen now? Just about every senior I've heard from has said, why did it have to be our senior year? And I'll admit, I've been asking myself that. Why did this have to happen while I'm principal? I wish this hadn't happened on my watch. I was really looking forward to teaching aquatics and getting to scuba dive with those students. And school got called off just as that class was getting fun. We elected new chairs last week, and now is the time of year I wish we could capture all that initial energy and make plans for next year. We should be having our end of the year parties and celebrations. I should be at school in AirCon. Why did this have to happen to me? When I start thinking that way, it's easy to get mad. I feel like something I had a right to was taken away. It's not fair. And thinking like that becomes a lens through which I see everything else that's happened in the past 2 months. I don't want to be mad about everything. I can grieve what I've lost, and I have lost things like all of you, but I don't want to be bitter. One of the things I try to consider is how I'd like to be talking about this experience to people in 10 years. It's a significant event, and so it's reasonable that it has significant repercussions. And it's likely that I will have a chance to tell people about it in the future. And as I've thought about that and that possibility, there are two options that kind of come to mind. First, I can still be bitter about what I didn't get. I can tell people about the time that classes got called off, when we weren't able to hold events that I'd expected to be able to, when everyone else's problems with moving online became my problems as principal. I could say those things, and I might even get some sympathy. The other option would be to talk about how school was called off with no notice, how overnight we all had to restructure what it means to teach and learn, had to figure out how to hold classes, have elections, give out awards, interact with teachers and families without being able to be together. I could talk about the challenge we faced and what we did to get through it. That first option gives me something to complain about, something that happened to me. The second option gives me something to put on my resume, something I accomplished along with everyone else in our community. The focus has shifted from what happened and moves to what we did after it happened. You all have accomplished something significant over the past month. It's something that was hard, unwanted, and unfair. But it's something you got through. When you think about and talk about what happened this quarter, you can put less focus on the things that happened to you and shift that focus to the things that you did to respond to this. How did you make sure you were successful at online learning? What did you do so you didn't get completely bored in quarantine? How did you stay connected with your friends, with your teachers, with your family when you weren't able to leave your house? Figure out a way to put this on your resume. If there was a college entrance essay titled, "Tell about a difficult time you went through and how it helped you grow," what would you write? How would you talk about what you did, how you responded through this time? We all lost things, some more than others. We had long-term staff and students who, on a few days' notice, left the country and missed the end of the year, their final year at Fifth Academy, their final year in the Philippines. And if that stays your focus, every time you think about this quarter and this school year, you'll just be bitter. Think about a way to take the focus off what happened to you, and move the focus to what did you do as a result? What did you learn? How did you grow? How has it affected who you think you are? Who you think your friends, your family are? Has it changed your thoughts about learning, about school, about God, about life? This has been a rough quarter. I don't doubt that. I'm not going to argue that. And hopefully when you look back on it in 10 years, you're not thinking about the bad, but you're able to see the good, how you grew, the things that you learned. I would encourage you to start thinking in those ways now. Start considering now how this time can be a positive one for you, how you can work through the bad to find some good, and how it can end up being something that you put on your resume and talk about positively 10 years from now. All of us are asking,
why did this have to happen to me?
Like Gandalf said, there's not an answer to that question. The only question we can answer is, what are we going to do with the time that we have been entrusted with? You can decide. Stay safe, stay sane. Like you talking to your class, okay? I'm not sure what level voice that is. Whatever voice you talk to your class in.
Why does this have to happen to me?